Three, two, one. I am Ulysses Butch Slaughter, Program Manager, proud Program Manager of Chester Made. I am checking in with a couple of our Chester Made residents. It has been a long time since I actually had a chance to see you two face to face, but I got Marcy Morris and Sister Mama Misty Soul on the line with me. What is going on, you two?
Hello. Do you want me to start?
Go right ahead, Misty. Jump right in.
So, yeah, I've had a lot more time at home, a lot of time to think, and gratefully, I've been supported by some organizations in just kind of like spreading healing and liberatory faith, like throughout this time. You know what I mean?
No, tell me what's that word you just used?
Um, I have recently curated a mini online festival called Mother Tongue,
All
Healing
right.
and Liberation in Black Vernacular Arts. And so it was kind of an extension of work that I've been doing around Black people and this concept of other ways of knowing, right? So that outside of academic thought, outside of accepted Western modes of learning and understanding, we had things like dreams and intuitions and signs and omens. And Toni Morrison talked about how, in addition to being a very practical people, Black people are also, we also have that other ways of knowing thing. But because a lot of us wanted to be upwardly mobile and we want to be respected, we would tend to stay away from those modalities and ways of looking at the world. But I think in a time like this, we need to lean on those rudimentary arts, those that folk culture that really is the root of what we are in this country. Now is not the time to not have that belly brain connected, because there are so many different people and entities and organizations that are vying for the attention and the energy and the finances and just the mind of the Black person in America. And Black spirits and Black cosmologies matter. And we need to really tap into those more than ever. And so that's what this mini conference was about. So on the first day, we did a Zora Neale Hurston reading.
All right.
And we read some of her short stories, and we talked about the ways in which language and just hearing your mother tongue can be healing in itself, and it kind of roots you, you know, in reality. And it also just what would you say? It kind of validates you, you know, like accepting your forms of language. And then on the second day, I had a talk with two vernacular artist practitioners. One was a multimedia artist, and the other one was a curator that co-curated the Souls Grown Deep exhibit that they had in Philly this past year. And they were, I think they had the quilts there from Gee's Bend as a part of that at Swarthmore a couple of years ago too. And so they showed their work, and we had a conversation over Zoom. And then on Juneteenth was the third day. And that day we met in person at the Colored Girls Museum. And, you know, because they have, you know, their own regulations and stuff we have to follow, we wore masks and whatnot, and we met in the garden. And we just contemplated the idea of liberation and bloom, right?
Hey,
Uh,
anybody who's listening,
and
I just want to jump in here really quick, Misty, because anybody who's listening, this will be a podcast. You are listening to a podcast that we're creating for Chester Made, and you're listening
yeah,
to Misty Soul, who was one of our first residents, the MJ Free Chester Made residents. She was one of five, and I got feedback about your residency. The participants who came in to your residencies were always feeling so full when they walked out of
mm,
one of your classes or sessions. And I'm sure people listening right now are going to walk away very full. We do have Marcy Morris with us. I want you to finish, and then Marcy, you're going to jump in here. But Misty, you were talking about that third day, that Juneteenth liberation, and I'm really feeling you, because you're right. We're in a different kind of time right now, and a different kind of time and space requires different tools, different thinking, a different spiritual base. So go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I just feel like that Lauryn Hill quote, never forget who you are and where you stand in the struggle. And so that's what it was about. And we talked. Greg Irvin showed up from Chester
Greg,
representing.
who?
We also had
Who was that?
Greg Irvin.
I know who
Greg
you're talking
Irvin,
about.
photographer. He took some beautiful pictures you can see on
Excellent.
my website.
All right.
And we had an educator from Chester come out also. So it was about half Chester, half Philly that
All right.
represented. It was nice. And on the fourth day, we broadcast a sacred dance from the churchyard garden, along with the words and music of Nina Simone. And that was just a closing healing ritual to kind of solidify everything, all the beautiful energy that we had brought to the event. And so the replay of all of that is available on my website, mistysoul.com, www.mistysol.com, and you'll see Mother Tongue at the top there. It's the first entry, and you can watch the whole festival replay.
Well, I'm going to say again, for those who did not get an opportunity to experience your workshops face to face back in January, February of this year, this is the type of embrace that they missed. And we're so hoping that we'll get an opportunity to do that again in the near future. I want to bring in Marcy Morris, who is, as always, patiently waiting to jump in. She was one of our other residents, along with Sister Mafada. And I want to send out prayers and healing and hopes for Sister Mafalda. She is just a ball of energy, and she is working hard to do some family healing right now. Just know that we are with you, Sister Mafalda. But Marcy, what's been happening in Marcy Morris Paint Land?
Let's see. A lot of different things are going on. I think what I want to start with is, you were just talking about Juneteenth. It was really the first year that I really tuned into Juneteenth. I remember the first Juneteenth I'd ever been to, celebration, was in Chester many years ago. And I didn't know what Juneteenth was. I really, over the years, just didn't know. And so this year, of course, it was made much more aware. And I was invited to a Juneteenth, and it was in Morristown. A friend called me, let me know there's Juneteenth. And I said, in Morristown. So I said, that's great. I said, Morristown is creating, a town celebrate, right, acknowledging and celebrating. So I drive down Main Street, and I don't see anybody there. I do see the American flags,
Yes.
I see the American flags, as most main streets do.
Right.
And it just really hit me. And I said, July 4th, there's going to be a celebration down the street.
Right.
I said, but the whole town isn't celebrating Juneteenth.
Right. Right.
And then I looked at my phone and I said, where is this? Where is it? And so it turned out to be at Perkins Art Center.
Okay.
And it was a gathering of artists, poets, people from the community, diverse gathering, which is great. And a lot of young poets and artists were there. And I was invited, it was sort of impromptu, and I shared a piece called Hands. So,
hey, Marcy, you want to share that piece with our audience right now? Is that something that you could break off for us?
Oh, you know what? I actually, I have some of my pieces memorized. I need to have that one memorized too. I'd love to. It's actually on the phone. Then it would take some time.
Okay.
But I would
Maybe next time, huh?
In another moment. But
Hey,
speaking
Marcy,
of,
may I be
go
so
ahead.
be so clear as to this Juneteenth thing, because a lot of times people hear these things and like you, they're hearing it for the first time, and there's some areas of history and life where none of us should be ashamed when it comes to learning something. So I just want to throw out the little bit of history of Juneteenth. It is June 19th, 1865. A guy named Gordon Granger goes into Galveston, Texas. This is June 19th, 1865, long after Abraham Lincoln has issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and he informs the so-called slaves, I prefer to call them captives, that they've been emancipated, and they didn't know. So it was in Galveston, Texas, that he informs them that, hey, it's over. And so Juneteenth is an Independence Day for Africans in America, like 1776, July the 4th, was Independence Day for the country as a whole, so to speak. But we know that blacks in that time, they didn't experience that on 1776 in 1776. So this is important for people to know that this is the experience that you're talking about.
And I had, I looked up, I did, as you're sharing, I said, I need to do my research. I need to read history. And so that's what I've been immersing myself in each day, is learning history, reading more about slavery, reading, and asking questions, reading about leaders, talking to my friends, going on poetry platforms, and hearing, you need to hear the young voices up to, elder voices who, just that's been really, really connecting, informing, and then for me to share just from, my perspective, and just greater understanding.
Yeah, one of the things that I loved about you all's residencies, and these residencies were 6, 8 week, sometimes a little more, a little less periods of time, where you all were giving, you, Misty, Sister Mafalda, Kenny Hunt, Brother Parsons, you all were giving of your time and your energy and your skill and your experience to students, to participants. But one of the things that I loved about it was that you all had studio time. And it sounds like right now, both of you are getting a lot of studio time, so to speak, in terms of doing your own study. You are teachers, but talk to me about what it means, both of you, please. Talk to me about what it means to continue to be students as well as teachers. Talk to me about that, please.
Marcy, you want to go, or you want me to talk for a little?
You can talk. Yeah, you could go. We'll take turns.
I've been learning so much. I actually started a yoga teacher training a few days ago. So yoga has been a big part of my life for this period in particular. I've always been a wellness person. I like to exercise a little 20 minutes every day. But with the stress of just trying to figure out what's going on from day to day and trying to discern the noises outside in your neighborhood, like in more ways than one, I'm not detached from any of this. I'm living in the middle of it. You know what I mean? So I had to find a way to keep my family and keep myself balanced, And so we've been doing family practice for about a half hour every day. And last week, a good friend of mine who's taken a yoga training contacted me that one of the Center City studios was offering scholarships to people of color that wanted to get a certification. And so I jumped into it. And so I've never been a 2-hour-a-day yoga person. So I'm sore, but it's beautiful. I also completed a 10-week Woman Warriors Journey course,
Right.
which was another thing that really has helped me to stay not just grounded, but hopeful. And what's the word I want? Not productive, because I don't like that. Like, I'm not a factory,
Yes.
but uh, but on purpose. Like, I'm able to move toward what I feel like my role is in the healing of our people and the planet. And I feel like because of these things that I've been doing through, the graciousness of my community and through the support of my family, that I have a better sense of what that work's gonna look like, and I have confidence to continue to do it. So that's been a lot of my studio practice. I'm just
Right.
working on that healing and vision aspect of my practice. The actual painting, I've been getting to it, but just that internal fortitude, those roots of the tree. That's what I've really been focusing on. But I expect the bloom to come, because I've been adding the fertilizer and the water and the sunshine.
Marcy, talk about the studio, sister. I see a great picture in your background. Those people who are listening to this won't get an opportunity to see what I see in the background, but
Oh, sure.
looks like you've been doing some painting. Talk to us
Yes.
about the studio work.
Sure. So this is Rayshard Brooks and his and Baby Dream. And what I did, I have a series. This is the second of the series for Rayshard Brooks. And what I did here was, you could see him holding Dream, and I use this like as a blackboard. So I'm put his name in chalk. I'll paint this, and then it says husband and father. His wife Tamika Miller, blessings 8, memories 2, dream. Daughters 1, and stepson Makai 13. So that this information can, I can erase this and change it. It could be interactive in a school setting, or like in a gallery setting. In this piece right here, where I've had like the facts of his murder here, and then I have Black Lives Matter here. So there we go. So I'm doing a series. So that's a big part of what I'm doing. But in terms of emotionally, just think pacing. I think just pacing myself with taking in, like when you're taking in, as we all are, so many lives, so many Black lives that are being murdered by police officers. It's like at first I wanted to do it, be as quick as I can, and just, I was like, I'm not catching up and I can't focus. And I just said, you know what? I said, all the knowledge and the process of creating is about sharing, and it's at your personal pace, at the same time, you might be doing 6 paintings in one day, and you might, maybe you're working on something else, something abstract, where you have different projects going on. So for me, working on the portraits, it's taken me time to come back to each victim and their family, and continue to read and learn about each victim, and many victims that I was not aware of. So
I can't say thank you enough to both of you all. I reached out to you a little while ago. We talked about this a week back, and then I said, hey, wait, today is Thursday. Let me see if I can reach them. Let me see if I can get with them. And the need for creative inspiration is always important. And I'd say, I don't like to say now more than ever, because I think there have been trying times in the past, and people probably said it back in the past as well. I just think it's the kind of thing that you all have continued to display as residents, as artists, as students, that you are committed to your work. You are committed to your communities. I speak for the Pennsylvania Humanities Council and Chester Made when I say thank you for everything that you've done to continue to provide inspiration to so many people. Misty, you talked about how people could reach you. Marcy, if people want to reach out to you, learn more about your work, how do they do that?
Sure. On Instagram, it's at Marcy Morris Artistry. I know that's a long name, but that's my name. And on marcymorris.com is my website.
All right.